Okay, there we go. Welcome everyone to our 10th Town Council recurring meeting. For today's meeting, we'll have quick updates on the liquid delegation and Ari's TANIP proposal, and then we'll have some open discussion / Q&A. Firstly, however, let's start with an overview of the Town Council and the purpose of these recurring meetings. These recurring meetings serve 5 critical functions. Firstly, they provide transparency to our community. They create a structured forum for proposal discussions, enabling authors to present to the council and community and to discuss, debate and refine for formal proposal and voting with consensus. They enable regular platform updates. They ensure consistent communication amongst council members. And finally, they allow direct community engagement through question and answer sessions. The Town Council is a local governance organisation within the Telcoin platform. Together, we serve as a provider and administrator of collective goods and services within the jurisdictional domain of the Telcoin Application Network, or TAN. The TAN Council, with our 6 members, makes decisions related to TAN improvements and policies through the TANIP process. We need 5 out of 6 votes to approve proposals within a 120-hour voting period. Our primary duties are to allocate TEL issuance on TAN for stakers and developers to harvest, and plan and finance the development of the Telcoin Application Network. Our key responsibilities include reviewing and voting on snapshot proposals, attending these bi-weekly meetings, providing regular community updates, monitoring TAN systems, and enforcing operational rules. We use Discord for day-to-day communication, the forum for informal proposal discussions, these recurring council meetings for proposal discussions, deliberation and refinement, and snapshot for formal voting. Overall, the TAN Council has authority over minor harvesting and planning and financing TAN infrastructure. So, without further ado, a bit of an update regarding the liquid delegation. So it looks like both liquid delegation ceremonies have surpassed the required 20% quorum. Currently 944.4 million TEL has voted in the stakers vote. That's out of about 3.34 billion TEL, which means there was a voter turnout of 28.3%. So much better than last time. Ari is currently leading with 45% of the vote, while No Preference and Ryan Neuner follow with 27.3% and 27.15% respectively. Of around 1.1 billion TEL of liquidity miners voting power, 273 million votes are in, with Dwight currently collecting 96.3% of the votes. So more information on that will officially be released at the conclusion of the liquid delegation process tomorrow. But so far this has shown real strength from the community, particularly in reaching these quorums, which I know some of us a few weeks ago were even considering, maybe having to reduce the quorum levels. So I think great performance all round and very positive on that front. And from a TAL perspective, I think we have a good idea of what we need to do going forwards. There's been a stark difference between this time around and last time. So yeah, thanks everyone for that, and good job voting. Still time to get your votes in as well, so go ahead and do that when you get the chance. Votes should be open for about another 24 hours, I believe. Yeah. And then TANIP, so the time-based average stake calculation in TEL rewards issuance passed on Monday. So Ari has since actually created a PR to implement these changes, and those are just waiting for confirmation from Marcus, although Marcus is very busy with Telcoin Network at the moment, and I'd say he should be prioritizing that, so that's good. And when Marcus has a chance to review that, everyone will be updated, and yeah, we'll be moving to that new system, which is pretty exciting. And yeah, so that's kind of all for me for now. Does anyone have any questions, anything they want to share, anything they want to bring up? Floor is open.
Hey Leo, so I wanted to, so I know I put the proposal together and it went into the platform treasury section, right, for
Mhm,
marketing and marketing spend. But I also know that within this group, this council, even with Parker on a couple of times, we've talked about our own internal marketing efforts, gamifying some things, making, doing some things within this council as well.
mhm.
Um, so, uh, so I know I put the proposal together, but I didn't think this through. Should that proposal stay within the TAN council, or is that in the appropriate place that it needs to be?
Yeah, I kind of initially thought it should be a TAN IP,
Mm-hmm.
but I mean it was also well received by the Platform Council, and um, I think you guys came up with some good ideas and some good paths forward last
Mm-hmm.
week. So I think it kind of doesn't matter too much. We can always put a note on it to both work on it, if you like. But I think the
Well, I
platform
was.
council had a good start, and I think talking to Parker earlier, even he was he kind of mentioned he was considering a few potential routes
Okay.
there as well. So
Good.
um,
And I guess just to clarify, I mean, we could leave that in the hands of that council,
mhm.
and maybe we just run in parallel with them through, our own proposal for the TAN council. If we want to, leave that at say more of a corporate level where we're bringing in marketing teams to pitch their ideas and help us facilitate some of those things. And then also here we can do some of the things that we originally talked about, rewarding members and gamifying and stuff like that. So
Yeah,
yeah, I just wanted to make sure that I keep it straight in my mind and we have the most impact across the entire association.
yeah, no, it's all good, and it's kind of nice. It's a bit of an example as to the general setup of the association. So even though that is a platform, like a TIP, so
Hmm.
kind of owned by the platform council in a way, we are still community members in their eyes, and we can still go and, you know, get involved with that proposal.
Sure.
So
Okay.
there is still that, apart from voting, apart from, actually participating in the final vote, we still have a lot of power, so we can get involved with those conversations, and I think we should. And it would definitely be good to run parallel and build on that. Yeah,
Perfect. Okay.
nice.
Thanks.
Cool. Happy to help. Any more for any more?
Andrew, I don't know if you could have a chance to come up here for a second. I had a question for you. So I saw within the community, a few people were mentioning that the percentage of rewards seem to have decreased, and I know you crunch the numbers as you always do. I was wondering if you've seen the same thing, and there's a confirmation to that, and what's the root reasoning? Oh, you're still on mute, buddy.
We had him for a moment.
Can you hear
There
me
we go.
now?
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
What's going on, gents? We're talking analytics. It's like
Yeah.
you know. I didn't really look at. I got it up in front of me now. So this past week there was just under 202,000 tel that wasn't allocated. If we look at that as a percentage, that is 6.3%. If we look cumulatively, that number currently sits at 2.2 million. and if we divide that by what was supposed to be, it's just under 10%. So like that number is coming down week over week, which is good.
Mhm.
But still, like having 10% of the rewards not being distributed, again, in my opinion, I think we talked about this on the last call with you guys as well too. I prefer to see as much of those rewards go out to as many, TEL fam as possible. Which, you know what, the fact that you asked me to come up, I wasn't going to bring it up again, but maybe just to reiterate my point from last time as well on, whether or not we want to look at a secondary update after, Ari's adjustment with the time weighted. A secondary calculation, potentially a third, fourth, fifth, however many times you need to do it, to then essentially take, those unallocated TEL for that week and then disperse that amongst those who are eligible. So
I'd
if
be
you guys
interested in
are open for
seeing.
that, then I'm happy to put a proposal together.
I would be interested to see what the difference between the average calculation as proposed by Ari and then what we currently do, and see what the delta is between those two, maybe for a couple of weeks, and then see if that needs finer adjustment.
Yeah, I'm happy to wait too. Like I said, with the numbers coming down, like I can look week to week and just kind of see where we are. If we do period 5, the amount missed was 178, which was about 5.5%.
Mhm.
Period 4, we were 180,000 TEL unallocated, which again was about 5.6%. I think it was really in the first couple weeks that was really the big difference. So period. Go ahead.
Is this, and I should look at this data with you. We talk enough to where I probably should with you, but is this because of people having hitting their cap?
It's 100% of what that is. Yeah.
100% of cap. Okay.
It's all capped. The only reason that TANIP issuance wouldn't be allocated is because wallets have hit their cap. That's the only reason.
Yeah, right. You're right. Okay, fair enough.
So period 3, there was 676,000 TEL, which was 21% of the 3.2. Huge number there.
Mm-hmm.
Period 2, again, 17.6%, 560,000 TEL not allocated. Period 1 was about 9%, just under 300,000. And then period 0, just to top it off, was about 4.5%. So you have a little bit of some outliers there with period 3 with 20% not being allocated. But for the average, I would say if you take that one out, you're probably in that 4, 5, 6 kind of percent range.
Gotcha. Okay. All right.
So
Thank you.
thank you very much for that, Andrew. That's really interesting, and yeah, I'd love to actually see those numbers because there's a lot to dig into. And I'm kind of just thinking initially people can get capped because they're not restaking at the start of a new period, basically, which will partially be fixed by the
Right.
weighting. But then you can also end up with that kind of mechanic if you've got if the trading distribution kind of changes, right? So if one person trades a lot one week, but then someone else trades more the next, the distribution will kind of go to that other person the next week, and they might not have the stake to they'll end up being capped there, if that makes sense. Or that's kind of just top of the head thinking, but
that's the challenge with
maybe it's not
trying
restaking.
to. Yeah, that was gonna say that's the challenge with like the staking is like you have no idea, what the total fees are going to be for that week to try to think like, oh, last week, I got 10,000 TEL and I got say 5,000 or another 10,000 TEL from referrals and whatnot, right? Like your total was 10,000, so you got 10,000 as rewards, but Next week you can have 25,000, but everybody else traded that amount, and then instead of getting the 10,000 too, you got like 5, right? So it's all, you're never really going to be able to plan ahead, because you're never going to be able to see that foresight as to how many people are trading within the app for that specific period until the script is written. So from that perspective, it's tough to say like, oh, okay, I earned another 10,000 tel this week, I'm going to put it back into my stake, but it's not guaranteed that you're going to get that 10. You might get less, you might get more, but then if you don't put in enough, you're going to be capped, right? So it's a little bit challenging for that, but
yeah, it would be cool. I guess taking trade volume on a weekly basis and just kind of seeing if that correlates to issuance at all. Trying to find some kind of correlation between some of these. Yeah.
Well, Leo, if you want, I've got my document. Like I can send it to you if you want. I do usually post it in the Power Holders Telegram group. Like, I'm not expecting everybody to download it. Who's going to download a random file from a random person you met on the internet? But if people want, they can have that access to it there. If not, what I've had is some people reach out to me in DMs and just tell me what their wallet address is, and then I'll just do like a quick lookup of what they've got for that week, or an accumulate what they've done for the first 6-7 periods. So
amazing. Yeah, thank you. It's definitely something I kind of want to dig into a bit more. I think could be really interesting, and in a way, to Steve-O's point, I think it is worth taking our time with adjustments we make now, so we can kind of fine tune in a direction,
sure,
rather than
what I can do, Leo, is I can flip it to you after we're done here. And if you want to try to book some time to walk through it and just kind of look at it with me, then that's fine too. Or again, look at it on your own. Feel free. But yeah, I can send it to you or anybody else that wants it. There's nothing proprietary. It's basically just taking what Marcus puts together in those files and putting it in a little bit more easy to read format and accumulating all the information in a specific tab too.
For us simple people, Leo, he does this, so it's he takes he takes it all and cleans it up and scrubs it and puts it together, so guys like me can actually make sense of it.
Yeah, and then use my.
Oh, we might have lost you there, Andrew.
What is interesting to see in the last sheet is that the volume of total fees exceeds 3.2 million. So we can see an increase in numbers of trading volume. And in this last period, only 200K are missing. So people are more using the application. So I think if only 200K are missing, that's not much. And it's really important to deal with that. So it's the first time that we exceed 3.2 million in total fees. We'll just need to see if the next weeks we have more than 3.2 million, which is good.
Right.
Agreed. Lovely. It sounds like a strong performer so far. So
it sure does.
it would be great to keep an eye on it and see what we can tweak and try and come to some conclusions about the data.
Yeah, again, I'm super interested in seeing the performance with the new script that Ari's put together on for the averages and see and do a correlation between the way it was versus the way it is and see where those numbers land, and then maybe reassess, and then if we have to massage it further, to Andrew's point, I think we could and should.
Definitely, yeah. I think it's especially like given the current market, I think it's actually in our favor to postpone the implementation a little bit, just so we have more data to compare, kind of thing. So it could be a bit of a blessing in disguise that Marcus is busy at the moment. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm overly positive, but it's, I think that would be good to have more data points. Nice. Are there any more questions from anyone in the community or any other council members? Feel free to pop on up.
Leo, I got a question.
Go for it. Yeah.
I was gonna say, so right now, TANIP1 obviously is using the incentives from the TAN Council, obviously for the Telcoin application. If another developer comes onto the network and wants to do something similar, where are those funds going to come from?
They will compete.
Okay, so that 3.2 million is for every application, not specific to Telcoin app.
Yeah. So
okay.
This is at like the TAN level, so the Telcoin application network, of which Telcoin is one application developer. So the idea is any other application developer will kind of hook up their app in the same way that Telcoin has done with their wallet, and all of their users will then end up in the same kind of basket, basically.
Okay, so from that perspective, then, is there a set fee that is charged? Because say Steve has an app and he's charging 1% fee, but yet I open up an app and I charge 4%. My fees generally, again, if trading pairs were 1-to-1, my fees are going to be a lot higher than Steve's. Therefore, I'm going to inherit more of those incentives. Is there a way to manage that?
It is. It's a good point.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think like further down the road when we get more, developers on the network. Like, do we have standards in place on fee generation and all that kind of stuff?
I believe they can select the fees. So it is just off fees, and then yeah, if you manage to refer more people who are willing to pay a higher fee or willing to do more transactions at a lower fee, but you end up, creating more fees through your referees. I always get mixed up. I think
Yeah, but that's specifically to the stake and refer program. Like, what if they don't have a stake and refer program and it's only based on like fees? Like, if Gcash or somebody else wants to come on and develop on the network and all they're using it for is remittances or swapping, right? They don't necessarily have a stake and refer. It's just fees that are being generated through their application. So that would be, I guess, maybe one part of the question. The second part would be, are all of those transactions going to be denominated in TEL? Because we have to have one common denominator that we're going to evaluate everything based off of, right?
It should all be TEL. Yeah, you raised some good points. I kind of realize I'm probably not as familiar with it as I should be.
Well, sorry to put you on the spot, Leo. No, that was not my intention.
No, it's all good. As I say, I should know better. But yeah, it's kind of, with the Telcoin Association, Telcoin Divide, it's almost hard to know where the exact lines are, and I haven't looked at the spec for a while. But can I get back to you on that front, and we'll figure it out, and we can have an update.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, but it's good points. It should all be scalable. You're absolutely right, and this whole idea of Telcoin is one application developer.
But Andrew, are you?
Yeah.
Sorry, Leo. Are you conflating like so if another developer comes on, which obviously is going to happen, are you conflating their fees with the Telcoin transaction fees, which is driving the calculation, right?
Essentially, yeah, that's what's generating what the fee is. Like if I make a swap for $100 on the Tel app versus another app, like are those fees going to be the same or are they going to be different? And if they're
Well,
different,
that's what I'm wondering. So if the developer is charging whatever they want to charge on their app, but the fees stay the same for the Telcoin portion of it, does that necessarily give them advantage?
whatever's going into the calculation to then spit out the script to then distribute the incentives.
Yeah.
Like that's I guess more of what I'm asking. It like again, they can do whatever fees they want. Like if there is a set standard that the fees going to TANIP1 are 1%, and then anything that the developer decides to add on top of that, whether it's 2-3%, whatever, like that 2-3% extra goes directly to them, is not eligible for TANIP1 issuance. I'm just trying to make sure that there's like a level playing field so that when more developers come on, like they can't take advantage of that. Because like if you have, whether it's a percentage fee or a flat fee or something like that too, like you could have like an institutional, client base where they develop an app and next thing you know, they don't care paying, a little bit more for the fees because they get the services that are behind the app, right? So then next thing you know, okay, well, they're making bigger transactions, they're charging higher fees, they're getting a lot more flow through, right? So then they're going to have an advantage for this issuance.
Yep. No, I see your point. I'm wondering, where in the code or the development, or maybe not. Maybe it's something we definitely have to look at. Are those completely separate fees, like you just explained, or are they conflated, and we need to really look at it and separate them?
Yeah, ideally everybody's on a level playing field, I think, and then it's really, if it's going to be denominated until, everybody should be on the same playing field as it relates to TANIP1. Again, outside of TANIP1, I don't care what people do. Like you want to develop an app and charge people whatever, like that is your business decision. I'm not saying we get involved in their business decisions and stuff like that. I'm just saying specifically as it relates to TANIP1, everybody, again, in my head, should be on a level playing field when it comes to like what fees go towards that calculation, I guess.
Couldn't agree more.
Yeah, well, let me look into it a bit more and get back to you because yeah, I need to straighten it out in my head as well. It's a good point. But yeah, happy to discuss on Discord or in a fortnight's time.
Yeah, sounds good. Yeah, no, again, I was just out of curiosity as we continue to grow, and obviously yesterday with Grant coming on ours too, with the code freeze coming up and potentially more MNOs and jumping on and becoming developers. It's just like those were the things that were kind of just going through my brain about longevity and kind of how these things are going to work once we have more than just a Telcoin app on it. Because honestly, I didn't know where like the fees were going to come from or where the incentives were going to come from, but at least it's good to hear that all developers are going to be part of that 3.2, and it's just beneficial to Telfan members now because we've got the app, right? So some people are making some decent bucks on this right now.
Hey, mind your business, Andrew. Don't ruin that.
Man, honestly, I haven't even made much. Like I don't even have that many referrals, and most of them are probably Canadian, and we can't use the app. So I am.
I was pretty surprised. I was perusing through so power holders, and they were posting some of their pictures of just screenshots of their referrals, and there's gents in there that have quite a few. Man, I was pleasantly surprised that they were able to accumulate such a large number. So.
Well, the number one sum of rewards right now is 1.56 million Tel.
Yeah, that's a lot.
But it should have been, this is for somebody different, but it should have been 2.1 million, but they missed out on 800,000 Tel because they didn't have enough staked.
Don't have enough staked, yeah. Ugh, brutal.
Not enough proof of alignment. That'll get you.
That's
Yeah.
tough.
Yeah. But thinking about it now, I guess when other application developers come online, yeah, they'll likely have their own stake and refers, and then it competes with Telcoin. You can also have people who, application developers who will use the stake and refer as it is as well, and they'll be competing with you guys. So it depends what level they come in at, I guess. But yeah, we'll figure that all out.
Okay.
Yeah.
And one more quick question, Leo. We wrote the proposal to help potential developers come online with GSMA. As we have we heard from the game company about their application, and are we going to fund the first year for them?
Yeah, so we're currently working on that with them, and then it
Okay,
should be finding its way into one of these meetings soon. So
perfect. Okay,
work in
thanks for the
progress.
update.
Yeah, good, good. Okay, lovely stuff. Unless anyone has anything else they want to raise, happy to end it there.
All set here.
Perfect. All right. Well, thanks for tuning in, and see you in 2 weeks' time.
Thank you, Leo. Talk to everybody soon.
Thank
Cheers.
you.